hao. That means hello in Chinese. Welcome to today's Artrageous Art lesson, where we get to travel to one of my favorite countries in the world. It's China. That's right. China is a country that's rich and full of amazing art and culture. And in China, they just celebrated Chinese New Year. And there's a plant that grows in China. It's this plant right here that sometimes people give to each other as good luck. This is the plant that's going to inspire our next art project. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it's called? It is green. And it's called, can you guess it? It's called bamboo. That's right. Bamboo is a plant that we're going to be using to make this artwork today. This is a Chinese brush painting. That's right. A Chinese brush painting of bamboo. And our learning goal is that you will be able to create a Chinese-inspired bamboo painting that has 3 or more values. So, are you ready to get started? All right. In order to do your Chinese bamboo painting, you have to understand what the element of art value is. Value is the range of light to dark. So you can see these are different value scales using black and white and different colors. Black is the darkest color that we have. Now in the traditional bamboo painting, they use black ink as the darkest color. You can add water to the ink or even use watercolor paint to make a lighter value. So the more water you add, the lighter the value will be. The lines that we're going to be using or painting are vertical lines. So they're going to go straight up and down. Now, it takes some practice to do this type of painting. So I always like to practice in my sketchbook first so that I don't actually waste paper. The lines that we're going to be making, like I said, are vertical, so they go straight up and down. And I actually ordered this awesome traditional Chinese brush set from Amazon. And you can see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brushes. They have a very pointy tip, and they're kind of medium-sized. There's also a spoon to mix the water with the ink. This is the ink stone. This is what you actually rub into the water to make the ink. And then this is your signature stone. So this is the stone that you use to stamp your signature. So you would put this on your traditional painting. There's also red ink that you dip your stamp in. And there is a brush holder that you set your bamboo brushes on. So I only have one of these sets, but I do have some brushes that are thin and pointy. So they kind of have a pointed tip. So as long as your brush is not too big, not too small, and has a nice sharp pointed tip, then you can use that for your bamboo painting. And it's really important to take care of these brushes, because if your brush doesn't have a pointy tip, it's like trying to draw with a dull pencil. So you'll need a cup of water, you'll need your paintbrushes, and in the traditional set, you would just take a small bit of water at first and pour it into the ink stone and then mix it until you create a value. So the more you mix it and the more you stir it, the ink will start to mix with the water, and that's what you'll be using to paint with. Now with us, we only have one of these sets. So you're going to be using and doing something similar with watercolor paint. So if you get one of the watercolor paint sets and you use the black watercolor paint and dip your paintbrush in with some water, you can try mixing more water to create 3 different values. So you can see if I add more water, the value gets even lighter, so it looks like a light gray. So now I have 2 lighter values. I can dip my brush in a little more watercolor paint and make a little bit darker. So I want to have 3 values. So I have a medium, a light gray, a medium, and a dark gray. Now that I have my values, now I can get my paintbrush, and you want to make sure you hold your paintbrush carefully, and you're going to be painting with the side of the paintbrush, not the tip. It's actually the side of the brush to make the side of the bamboo. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush with the sharp pointed tip and I'm going to start with the lightest value of gray. Now you're going to start at the bottom and you're going to lay the side of your brush on your paper and you're going to wipe the brush up. There are small little spaces between the pieces of bamboo, so you want to leave a small space in between your bamboo stalk. Now I'm going to paint 3 stalks of bamboo and then I'm going to use the tip of my brush and dip it in the darker gray. So the darker gray, I'm going to add kind of like an outline edge around each bamboo, and I'm going to paint this time with the tip. Now I'm getting the darkest value, or the darker value, and I'm going to make some short brush strokes that show what the leaves look like. So I'm going to add a few leaves, and now I'm using the very darkest value, the black. And I'm going to be using that black just to add an outline around the edges. Now if you want to add something else to be creative, like a panda bear, you can use the tip of your paintbrush in the gray to paint a circle with a curved line that goes down for the panda's body. The eye, I'm going to use the tip of my paintbrush and paint a big oval shape for the 2 eyes, and then 2 oval-shaped ears, and then I use the tip of my brush to paint, ooh, watch out for that cute panda bear. Now I'm going to paint another panda bear over on the other side the same way. I'm going to use the gray and paint a circle shape for the head, and I'm even going to add some Chinese symbols. I printed off some different symbols that show different meanings in China, and when I'm finished adding all of those details, and I have at least 3 or more values, I'm going to use a really teeny tiny paintbrush and the black paint, the darkest black, and I'm just going to go over and make sure that I go over the edges and add a little shadow, and of course my signature. So you can see I've added a little bit darker values to my panda bear, to the edges of my bamboo, only one side where the shadow is. I'm making my Chinese symbols a little bit darker. I think that's the symbol for love. So you can pick a Chinese symbol that you like to add to it. And that's how you do your bamboo painting. Once you're finished, put your awesome bamboo painting on the drying rack and make sure you take care of your brushes and clean up your area. So sayonara, and I'll see you next Artrageous Art Time.